so let's jump right in. We're going to explore a really fascinating question today. In a country that's facing some pretty huge challenges, what is it that keeps its English teachers going? What's that inner fire? This isn't just about a job, it's really a story about human resilience. And to get us started, I want to share this really powerful Nepali proverb. Now, you hear that word poison, and you probably think something negative, right? But here it actually refers to this intense driving force. An inner fire. It's the perfect way to frame our whole discussion because it gets right to the heart of ambition and that relentless human drive to find meaning in what we do. And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. The research this is all based on kicks off with a story. It's about this one woman, an English teacher in Nepal, and she was dealing with so much. A toxic workplace, huge personal pressures, it was a lot. And yet, for her, the classroom became an anchor. Teaching was the one thing that gave her that sense of stability, that purpose, that kind of held her life together. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes our strongest motivations are forged in the toughest of times. Her story just perfectly illustrates the central conflict we're going to be digging into, this constant tug of war between the daily struggle and that inner drive. It's a battle that really defines the lives of so many educators there. So let's get specific. What exactly are these teachers up against, day in and day out? What are the challenges that are constantly threatening to put out that inner fire? I mean, when you look at this list, what's really striking is just how systemic it all is. We're talking chronic burnout, the emotional fatigue that comes with the job, low salaries that often don't even arrive on time, a work-life balance that's, well, pretty much non-existent. And then on top of all that, you've got a lack of support from the administration, not enough teaching materials, and a feeling that your work is just completely undervalued. It's like this relentless wave of things trying to knock you down. And yet, and this is the real paradox here, despite all of that, this incredible sense of commitment doesn't just survive, it actually thrives. So, how is that even possible? Okay, so it seems there are two sets of forces at play here, and this slide lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the internal drivers, that pure passion for the English language, the absolute joy you get from seeing a student finally get it, and this deep sense of social responsibility. But then on the other side, you have the external pressures, the real-world need for a job, the social status that comes with being a teacher, encouragement from your family. Both are real, both are important, but which one is really fueling the fire? We're about to find out. But to truly understand all this, we need to zoom out for a second. Because this motivation paradox, it's tied to a much deeper conflict in Nepali society, and that's the complicated role of the English language itself. To really get the tension here, we have to look back. So English first shows up in Nepal's education system way back in 1854. But here's the thing, it was only for the ruling class. Fast forward about 100 years, and it starts to transform into this symbol of a good education, a ticket to moving up in the world. And that brings us to today, where being proficient in English is seen as absolutely critical for global opportunities and for the country's progress. But this history has created two totally different faces of English. On the one hand, it's a powerful tool for empowerment. It unlocks global knowledge, it helps fuel the economy. But on the other hand, it carries this legacy of oppression. It can end up prioritizing Western culture over local culture, pushing Nepal's many indigenous languages to the side and even creating new social hierarchies. And this puts teachers in a really, really tough spot. Think about it. Their job is to champion a language that is, without a doubt, a gateway to opportunity for their students. But at the same time, they know that this very same language can overshadow and devalue local identities and cultures. That's a huge tension that have to navigate every single day. So, with all this complexity, the daily struggles, this deep cultural tension, we come right back to our main question. What is it that truly keeps that inner fire burning? And here we go. When the researchers really dug into the teachers' stories, a super clear pattern emerged. This chart basically says it all. The biggest drivers, they're not the external rewards. The overwhelming core of their resilience comes from inside, their personal passion for the work, the joy it brings them, and that deep, meaningful connection they have with their students. That stuff far outweighs the practical things like money and job security. This is what psychologists call intrinsic motivation. It sounds like a fancy term, but it's a simple idea. It's that powerful drive that comes from inside you, from genuine interest, from the satisfaction of doing the work itself, from a real sense of purpose. It's not about the paycheck or getting a promotion, it's about the work itself being the reward. This quote from the research it nails it. After listening to all those stories, the conclusion was crystal clear. The persistence of these teachers, their ability to stand up to all those external pressures, it comes from something internal. It's that personal interest, that feeling of responsibility to their communities, and that irreplaceable satisfaction you get from helping another person learn and grow. And this incredible resilience, it leads us to a final universal lesson that goes way, way beyond Nepal. So here's the ultimate takeaway. The story of these Nepali teachers shows us just how powerful a teacher's inner fire can be. I mean, it can overcome incredible obstacles. But it also gives us a critical warning that passion should not be the only thing holding up an entire education system. Relying solely on the goodwill and resilience of teachers, well, that's just not a sustainable plan. And that leaves us with this question. And it's not just for Nepal, it's for all of us, everywhere. If we know that this inner fire is the most precious resource we have in education, how do we design systems that don't just depend on it, but actually protect and nurture it? How do we build a structure that supports the very people who are building our future? It's definitely something to think about.